all. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty, breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're reclaiming our land.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to Are You Smarter Than a Politician? This is the political cage match where bold solutions win and bad ideas get wrecked. Tonight on Are You Smarter Than a Politician? It's the people versus the state. Do we serve the government or does the government serve us? We'll tear into corporatism, technocracy, financial privacy, crypto freedom. We'll ask if consumers and workers can finally break free from Washington's grip and much more. So we have three sharp political minds, friends of mine from LP Alliance, but they're here to clash. It's people versus the state. It's bold, it's unscripted, and it's the only show asking the questions that politicians fear. This is Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Joining us tonight, Kyle Davis. Kyle, like I mentioned, is part of LP Alliance. I'll let Kyle introduce himself because there's a ton here on this slide. Kyle, how are you tonight?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Good, buddy. What is this, your third time on?
It is. It's and the most informal as far as like dress and everything that I've ever been on here, because Georgia Tech's first game of the season is tonight, and so I'm definitely not paying attention to that at all.
Good scheduling by you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But longtime libertarian. Like I got in with Harry Brown in 2000 after realizing that Bush and Gore were both a joke. I am an aerospace engineer, computer scientist who's, just gigantically a nerd. That's pretty much what I do.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us again. Also returning to the show, Amanda Griffiths.
What is up? I didn't know we got cards.
I should have done the address, but you can follow Amanda at Ajax the Griff with 2 F's. Yes. And she's also with LP Alliance. How are you tonight, Amanda?
I'm well. Sometimes I have blonde hair, as you've seen. I'm very good. How are you?
I think it was like multiple times you were in the chat before I realized that was you.
I loved it though. It's people never realize, but like how many Amanda G's really are there? So it's I like having alter egos just based on the color of my hair.
I think I literally have only seen you with that hair and that jacket.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. This is just an overgrown, it's supposed to be black and then it fades to a weird brownish, strange thing. And I just let it happen. My hair has a mind of its own, but yeah.
So introduce yourself. You're one of the most talented people in the libertarian movement. Introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm one of the most talented people in the libertarian movement, and we should just leave it at that, because if I talk more, that will be proved incorrect. But no, my name is Amanda Griffiths. I'm one of the first movers of LP Alliance. I'm one of the editors at The Torch, which is our movement journal for libertarian and libertarian party discourse, news, and debate. That can be found at the torch.media. We're always looking for new submissions. And I have a parody album about the Russian Revolution, which is called Agit Pop in Offensive Marxism. That's found at agitpopinternational.substack.com. I'm getting over a minor voice injury, so I get to be recording again, which is fun because we've been on a little bit of hiatus. Follow that for great tunes, including, Stalin and Lenin as Lady Gaga, and a song about Kronstadt to the tune of In the Hall of the Mountain King, and so much more. If that sounds like your jam, you're crazy. And if it doesn't, listen to it anyway.
I personally love it, and I listened to it all in one sitting, and I've listened to it again since then.
Well, you're going to be in the
Absolutely
musical, so yeah.
I am trying out for the musical. I've been working on the one dance step I know, but it happens to be Running Man, so I hope that fits in somewhere.
You'll be running away from the island into Finland, so it'll be great.
My part in this keeps getting weirder and weirder, which I'm totally down for. So, great to have you back. And joining us for the first time, somebody we've been trying to get on the show, and we're excited to have Phil Rein. And Phil is at Phil with 2 L's, then an underscore, and then Rein, not spelled like rain or rain, but spelled REIN. So that's PHILL_REIN. And he's also with LP Alliance. How are you tonight, Phil?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here. Obviously, it's my first time, but I've spoken with all of these people quite a bit. As you know, we're all members in what we call first movers of LP Alliance. And so really what this means is that we were kind of the first people to believe in an idea, to come together and work together to shift kind of the culture of the Libertarian Party and see how it kind of interfaces and change the way it does with the Liberty Movement. So I'm excited to be here to discuss some of our ideas, show that even though we're kind of all working together, we probably disagree on quite a bit, but we're still able to come together.
Yeah, disagree in a familial way. It's
a
little sibling rivalry we have tonight.
Specifically me and Amanda, for sure.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, we have the glasses and everything. You look so sad in the picture that you submitted. I just love it. Kyle and I are smiling. It feels like I'm depressed that I'm a libertarian. We never win anything.
Well, it's the always angry side eye at the government. First off, that's what it is. They should be afraid of that look. That's what it is.
It's a very, very fearsome look. I will say that.
Growl.
I always say
very intimidating person. So.
The day you realize you're a libertarian is the best day and the worst day of your life. You're like, oh wait, there's other people like me, and then you're like, oh wait, I'm a libertarian. Oh
yeah.
No. So yeah, it's that picture works for it, absolutely. So also joining us, our producer, the lovely Terry Batts. How are you tonight, Terry?
Doing great. I am ready to go and looking forward to this. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some interesting stuff going on, chat. Pay attention out there. Keep those points coming or take them away, whichever one you want. Have fun.
Awesome. And couple little points here. Oh, you can follow me and Terry on X. I am at Freedom for Us for All. Terry is Bats T76, Bats T76. And our sponsor for our Friday night shows is Zano. And if you're tired of surveillance coins dressed up as freedom tech, Zano is the real deal. Open source, enterprise grade privacy, scalable and secure, build, spend, and tokenize any asset without the peeping eyes. Zano isn't just private, it's none of their business. And if you're new to this space, visit intro.zano.org to learn how Zano gives you the power to your own data, your money, and your assets all in one simple, secure platform built for real world freedom. That's intro.zano.org if you want to visit that. And we appreciate them sponsoring the show. And you can also get our swag on freedomsuperstore.com. You can get, I'm wearing the Taxation is Theft shirt. We also have my other car is a killdozer, Satoshi for President, Make Anarchy Great Again. You can get shirts, mugs. There's much more than that up there. Well, a couple more, let's be honest. So that's that. And let me pop this up onto the stage. Oh, let me say hi to the chat real quickly. I should do that next.
Hi, chat.
See who's here. Scientific is first. This is his new thing. He likes to say first. Shirley's here from across the pond. Thanks for staying up late, Shirley. Chris is here. It's free day. Nice. I like it. 100 to Amanda. Loved you in Wednesday.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Was that a
Typecasting.
musical? Did I miss a musical?
It can be. I think he's referring to the Wednesday Addams show.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
figuring.
yeah, I mean, I'll sing.
Waz says, thanks for making it awkward scientific minus 100. 100 to Kyle for being a nerd. Yeah, we appreciate that here. Welcome, Chris. Casey's here. Minus 100 to Kyle for mentioning Georgia Tech. That's absolutely fair. Casey's show is They Both Suck. That's on Wednesday nights. Check that out. 100 to Amanda for having a treadmill. It doesn't seem to be a coat rack.
It's not. It's a treadmill.
We have a
Just
lot
use
that
them.
usually are more like laundry type delivery devices, I think, in the background. So good for you. You do look like you gained about an ounce since the last time I saw you. So you might want to hop back
There we
on
go.
there.
There we go.
Yeah. The Griffiths jacket gets 100 for not being a commie. Nice. Dan's
My
here.
jacket can be a contestant too. That's fine.
Welcome, Dan. Yeah, we'll play against the jacket. 100 to Kyle for his hand-drawn background. Yes, finally Phil has joined us. That's exactly what I said. I was excited too. TK's here. Hey, what's up? Hey, Philly, 100 for being named after a great sandwich. That he'll take it, I'm sure. Minus 100 points from everyone because Terry said so. Neil's here. Welcome, Neil. Minus 100 to Free for selling out to the fantastic services of Zano. Yes. Hey, thank you for noticing, Scientific. Oh, hey, Sarah. Welcome. All right. We have some cool people in the chat. So 800 people already. Keep sharing it out. All right. So let's get started here. We are on YouTube and on Rumble in case we have problems with X, which does happen from time to time. You can find us at Freedom Uncut on both of those. There's the shirts again. Please share this out. Break the algorithm, as Casey likes to say. The winner tonight will get the virtual Ron Paul holding the Ron Paul trophy, Mike Johnson signature cologne Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead teddy bear. We also have the Lego Killdozer because nobody talks about the Killdozer more than me and Casey. The rules are, I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. The rules are, they can debate each other. They can veto each other's answers. They could tariff an answer. They could redistribute an answer. Everybody starts off with negative 500 points because the government gets paid first. But actually, tonight, Phil starts off with only negative 400 points for a great diss on the pictures in the promo. So he went after him hard before the show. So I'm going to reward that right off the bat. So here's how the scoring works. You've seen it a little bit already, but the chat controls the score. So you can give or take up to 100 points from the contestants. Give us a reason why. Don't give us a reason why. It could be about the question. It could be about, a treadmill. It could be about whatever you want it to be. All right. So we're ready to go. I'll put Terry back in the back. She will be handling the chat and the scores. Make her life hard tonight. Thanks, Terry. All right. So we're going to start off with Kyle, who's been on multiple times here. Kyle, to you, best symbol of lost liberty. The Patriot Act, lockdowns, IRS, NSA, ATF. Did Kyle freeze or did he fall
frozen?
asleep?
He looks frozen.
He does look frozen. Does he have does he have narcolepsy that we don't know about or something?
I did poison him. I did send poison over in the interim leading up to the show. So there is that.
Sticking with the Russian theme, you poisoned your
I
enemy
did.
there.
Yeah, I was, trying to be consistent.
He
I think
already quit.
It was probably the NSA coming after him, to be honest with you. I mean, what an inopportune time for him to freeze,
All right, well, I'll skip this one. I'll come back to him. So, Amanda, to you. Best strategy for protecting freedom locally. State nullification, county sheriffs, community militias, local courts, or direct action.
Direct action, 100%. Direct action is essentially how people are able to get involved in getting their self-governance back and giving it back to themselves. Anything else on that list that can come through direct action but it's the people that actually mobilize in order to make that happen. So 100% direct action is the best way to get people involved and continue to have that freedom grow, as opposed to just having another institution that crops up.
All right. Phil, to you. Biggest rights violation today: surveillance, gun restrictions, taxation, censorship, or eminent domain?
I'd probably say surveillance, only because it impacts so much, right? So if they're watching every single thing you do, they're going to start finding all the various things you might have done wrong, and then kind of prosecute for things that really shouldn't be against the law to begin with. And now we're seeing it kind of increase to the point where they're putting out kind of pre-crime analysis, AI analysis online. They're probably scanning this video for keywords, and rightfully so. The government should be afraid of us, and I should be on that list. So.
Excellent. Kyle, you're back.
I am.
Was that a good nap?
I wish it was a good nap. We lost power.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You froze like this.
People are always losing power.
You froze like this. Like
government knew I was on here, so
it was very cartoonish. So, all right, we're gonna
That's what
go
I look
back
like
to
anyway.
your question. You screwed up my whole thing. Now I got to drag people around, and here we go. Yeah. All right. Your question, Kyle, was best symbol of lost liberty: Patriot Act, lockdowns, the IRS, the NSA, or the ATF?
So I think the Patriot Act pretty much opened the door for all of the rest of these. Well, like obviously the IRS predates them, but the IRS is a whole different thing. I mean, you can make the argument that IRS is the way that everything is funded, but the Patriot Act led to the most ridiculous overreach the government has had on security ever. Like they listen to your calls, they look at your text. If you check the way that SMS works, part of the reason RCS is coming around is because texts and phone calls are so insecure. You can just read people's texts and listen to their calls as long as you're near a tower, which you are if your phone works. They basically said because a few people did a horrific act that the rest of us lose all of our rights to privacy. That's what led to the cameras being everywhere. That's what led to, the Patriot USA Act is just absolutely ridiculous. It's, to me, if the IRS existed but they weren't taking money, I would be much less mad about that than the Patriot Act. And I hate the IRS. So to me, the Patriot Act is the thing that has destroyed our personal freedoms the most of those.
All right. You get 2 in a row for rage quitting before we started. So your next question is, who should control immigration policy? Federal government, state government, local communities, private sponsorships, or employers?
Oh, I mean, there shouldn't be immigration policy. It should be who buys a house. But I guess realistically, if I am forced to choose one of those, then local communities is probably the closest answer. At the end of the day, what immigration is when two people have decided to have a transaction. If I sell my house to someone and he's on the other side of the border, so what? Whose business is that? The fear there is that what about people who are coming with different ideals and everything else? As long as you have strong ideas here and you espouse your strong ideas here, people with different ideas don't want to move beside you. Like we see that all the time in political parties. We see that everywhere. People don't come hang out with the guy they think is crazy. So be crazy in the right way, and you'll keep the people who aren't crazy in your way out from around you. At the end of the day, if a community has come together and said, okay, well, we want nothing but people who are blue-skinned and have the religion of the Martians, that's how it is. It's at the end of the day, it's between the people. And unless you have signed a contract to give that right away, it's between those people.
All right. Amanda, to you. Biggest threat to workers' rights.
No.
Corporate monopolies, union monopolies,
Oh, no.
bureaucracy, automation, and trade restrictions.
Oh gosh. Okay. Look, because there's corporate overreach, to be sure. Because currently policies favor union monopolies more than corporate monopolies, I'm going to say the more imminent threat is the union monopoly. Because essentially what you have are large unions that are not actually led by the workers on the ground, that take over entire sectors and then try to branch out into other sectors, including the public sector, and take the speech rights of employees. Unions essentially are corporations, so I don't really disentangle corporate monopolies from union monopolies. I'm talking about large unions here. It's important. I actually am a terrible, horrible libertarian who does support the right to organize when it's workers on the ground doing so and, advocating for themselves. That is not what a union monopoly does. That's not what something like UAW does. That is not a co-op situation, or rather UAW is distinct from a co-op situation where you have a giant union that acts like a corporation whose only goal is to get more members, that is consumers, and make sure that they become more and more entrenched in people's lives. So right now, unions, which are able to do things that we would be rightfully enraged if corporations ever tried to do, those are the corporations that have the worst monopolies right now. Corporate monopolies close second, but union monopolies are a form of those.
All right. Phil, to you. Biggest problem with corporatism: bailouts, subsidies, lobbying, regulatory capture, or monopolies?
Well, I'd probably say regulatory capture, only because it feeds into the monopoly system in general. Once basically a corporation can buy political power, they can then structure bills and regulations to stop everybody else from getting involved unless you have a certain amount of capital. And so the little guy gets screwed, or they get bought out. And so then you're kind of stuck with this monopoly anyway. So I think in reality, it's the regulations, and that if they went away, you would have much more competition, and monopoly in general would almost be impossible.
Great answer. All right, back to you, Kyle, if you're still awake. Best way to handle illegal immigration cases: mass deportations, case-by-case review, amnesty, private mediation programs, work visas with penalties.
There's no such thing as legal immigration, so the question doesn't exist. Like, the Constitution doesn't give the government the power to regulate immigration. That's clear and very, very plain. Anything that's not directly given as power to the government is not a power the government has. The 9th and 10th Amendment are clear. Anybody can immigrate here so long as they have somewhere to go, to have their own private property, whether that's rented or bought. So,
okay.
No such thing as legal immigration.
Okay. Amanda, do you? Most corrupt alliances, or most corrupt alliance: government plus corporations, government plus unions, unions plus corporations, all three together.
You missed an
LP Alliance.
excellent. Yeah, I was going to say, thank you for taking my stupid joke, Kyle. You missed a critical opportunity to say LP Alliance is the most corrupt alliance. Oh, wow. I regret sending in the topics that I wanted to talk about already. I'm going to split the baby here, because I said unions were the biggest threat to workers' rights in the previous question. I'm going to say government plus corporations, only because we should regard unions as corporations. So government and corporations together, with unions as a part of those. The reason that you do see incumbency threats, the reason that competitors are allowed to decide on whether they want more competitors, that's all the government. All right. And the same thing happens whether you're talking about a union, whether you're talking about a traditional brick and mortar business. It's always the embeddedness with the government machine that makes it difficult to disentangle yourself and actually have a free market. So I'm going to go with government plus corporations, unions being one part of that. But the problem is much larger than just the large corporate union.
All right. Phil, to you. Most corrupt practice: bank bailouts, military contractors, pharma monopolies, green energy subsidies, or farm subsidies.
I guess I would be stuck somewhere between the bank bailouts and military contracting. And I guess in the military contracting, I'm imagining you're talking about our government's ability to basically give a certain amount of money to a military industrial corporation and guarantee that they get to basically develop these weapons for us. And so the bank bailouts are bad, but really the money isn't real. They're going to print it no matter what. When it comes to the military industrial complex side of that kind of conjoining of government and corporation, it then creates weapons that go and kill people all across the globe. A lot of the times, innocents are killed at a higher rate than any sort of combatant. And then we're kind of looked at as people that have co-signed this. And so that's why, when people go and vote and they vote for one of the two main parties, you're essentially, signing on a line that you're okay with your tax dollars going to murdering people and then just enriching these weapons corporations, essentially.
All right. Let's jump into the chat here. It's going crazy. They're happy to see you. We got 100 to Kyle for going off the grid. We got minus 100 to Kyle because Kyle in first grade stole Neil's shoes. We have minus 100 to Kyle for having Georgia Tech internet. We have 100 for me for thinking that he'd be on a treadmill tonight. Mike, I would never think such things. Minus 100 to Amanda. No nullification is the correct solution. Minus 100 to Amanda for wanting me to do verbs on a Friday.
Do is a verb. Want is a verb. It's a gerund.
Burn and T's here. Welcome, Burn and T. Oh, roll tide. Well, at least until they play Florida. So, yeah. All right. 100 to Phil. No one wants to see my search history. Danfer, you made Kyle rage quit in the first question. He beat Booker. 100 to Amanda because we're wearing the same glasses at the same time. That's weird. Yeah. 50 to Amanda. State nullification means smiling at the government and doing whatever the fuck you want anyways. +1 to Phil because he semi-agrees. This is actually a good time to point out the chat does make a difference because Derek Wills lost by 1 point from Casey the other night. So the chat does matter. 100 to Tyler for pretending he's from South Park and freezing. 50 to Kyle, the ATF is explicitly unconstitutional. 50 to Kyle for the Patriot Act. 100 to Kyle for agreeing with the Koch brothers. Well, at least one of them still alive, right? Minus 100 to Kyle. The simple answer would have been yes. +1 to Kyle for back-to-back questions. 100 to Kyle for supporting my sweatshops. Minus 100, you had it right from the first time. Whoever wants to buy a house has the right to immigrate here.
I didn't change that.
+1 to Amanda for going green and not using paper and writing on her desk.
These are just notes for future writing in the computer.
Those are evil plans, by the way. That's what those
are. They are evil plans,
if you
and that's
zoom
why
in on
you can't zoom in. You're not allowed.
It's take over the government to leave you alone.
It's not allowed. Yes, that's true.
That's just proof of your beautiful mind there, right?
Exactly. That's my mind just vomited on the desk.
Minus 100 to Amanda. Trade restriction was the obvious answer.
It's a form of trade restriction.
Terry says, please continue to share on all platforms. Thank you. Hey, Joe's here. 100 to me for being on the LP Alliance stream. I made that mistake once.
We've taken over the stream now.
Yeah, the Tonight Show is 12 hours long, so make extra.
I'll just be reading my theses on Are You Smarter Than a Politician?
On points.
We'll be doing the second 12 hours in different voices. Yeah. 100 to Amanda. Unions wield too much power. Minus 100 to Amanda. This episode brought to you by Max Portrines. All hail Max Portrines.
I'll tell you, that hits all the wrong notes with me. All right, go
on. Sarah gave somebody 100. Chris wants Amanda to take a breath for 100. Amanda, I was going to say automation, but she has me convinced. 100 to Amanda for her take on unions. 100 to Phil. I'm the only one that should be trying to buy politicians like cheap streetwalkers. Minus 100 for Amanda for being pro-unions. Defund Amanda Stan.
See, Joe is upset because Joe is getting banned from Amanda Stan first thing after the revolution. So
I don't even know if it's banned, right? He's just sent to the gulag.
Well, yeah, but I mean, eventually banned, like from Drawing Breath and Amanda Stan, and then with him, Robert's Rules of Order and tacos in that order, but also simultaneoly.
Just don't put a pizza place; he won't come. That's all you need to do there.
I feel like this is
she won't go either.
Kilburn's here. Thanks for sharing, Kilburn. 100 to Kyle for illegal immigration not being constitutional. Fund Kyle land. 100 to Kyle for brevity. Minus 100 to Kyle for not picking one like a dirty non-voting hippie. Minus 1 to Amanda for splitting the baby. Minus 100 to Phil because he's new here. Minus 100 to Amanda for all 3. Minus 100 to Amanda for not picking one. 100 to Amanda for splitting the baby. It was going to grow up and not return its shopping cart. Yeah.
No, it is shopping cart. Gosh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Kyle's correcting
what
people's
makes-
grammar.
That's what makes me a real libertarian, by the way, the social anxiety. You can't be a true libertarian without being a little bit anxious in social environments.
And you have to have a podcast too.
Okay, that's true.
That's fair.
100 to Phil for physical signs of social anxiety. There we go.
You thought I came up with that on my own?
No.
I just thought I thought you went into therapy here. I was just trying to be nice. I didn't know where we were going there. I do like when on your show you're in the circles and sometimes it looks like you're crawling out of the hole.
It looks like he's crawling out of a manhole. It's great.
Yeah.
Phil is always prepared to be a Ninja Turtle. Like that's just how it works.
That'd be good.
Likes pizza.
I want to
be a
correct Chris
ninja.
though, because I'm spying on Chris in the chat.
Amphibian.
I said Robert's Rules goes before tacos. Robert's Rules gets axed before the tacos. So,
You lost the 100 though, so yeah.
but unduly.
No, I agree with that. I
This
agree
is
with
fraud.
I
This
think
is
you
fun.
might have missed the rules. Nobody cares.
100
100 to Phil for giving Casey a semi. 100 to Phil. I'm anxious in the comments section. What are you people doing in my house? Oh man, you can tell we're all friends by how the chat's going. So this is great. Great to have all of our friends here. This is awesome. All right, let's get back to it. Let's see what weird way you guys
boy.
can lose points. All right, back to Kyle. Best way to cut federal spending: across the board cuts, audit every department, end foreign aid, cut military budget, privatize programs.
I mean, the best way to cut federal spending has got to be to make every law expire so that they are forced to find funding every time, not allow anything that isn't funded. But in those 5, I mean, I guess audit every department kind of accounts there, because you audit them, say how much they're spending, and then you cut that.
Okay. I like it. Amanda, to you. Who should decide occupational licensing? Federal agencies, state boards, county governments, industry associations, or no licensing?
No licensing. No occupational licensing. Reason just came out with a great video talking about occupational licensing in order to be an interior designer. It's stupid. There should not be occupational licensing. You should the license should be your performing of the occupation and whether people actually are part of your business and patronize your business or not. That's the license.
Yeah, I refuse to go get my hair braided because I can't find a licensed hair braider in the area. So
Yeah. Same with
my
dog
favorite though
hair
is
grooming.
the flower shops that have to have a license
The
in
florists,
Louisiana,
yes.
I believe.
Can I add on to that? Because I think this is an area where some people, they look at, like, obviously the hair braiding and stuff like that. It's, oh, why would you need a license for that? And then they always get brought back as an argument to that as like, well, don't you want your doctor to have some license? I think you have to separate out between just like a regular licensing and a certification based on kind of where you were trained or whatever. And those will still exist. So if you wanted to go to a surgeon, you're not going to just go to any surgeon. You're going to say, hey, what certifications are they with? And you're going to make a kind of market decision based on that. And so I think this is where there's sometimes a big pushback from statists are like, well, we want our surgeons to have a license. And I understand the want for that, but it's clear that everything that they've gotten involved in, it's gotten worse. And so if you just allowed some private certification system to happen, we would probably end up with better surgeons across the board anyway.
I agree. All right, Phil, to you. Best strategy for Homeland Security: CIA, FBI, intelligence, state guards, private militias, armed citizens, or open trade?
Ooh, I guess so. Private militias are essentially just armed citizens. So I would say armed citizens that are allowed to kind of work together and build out the defenses. I think as all of history has shown, governments are more likely to cause harm to the people than they are to defend them. So I think having the private citizenry have a means to defend themselves against an oppressive government is probably the most important thing you can do.
So you're saying turrets on turrets.
Yeah. Yep.
The machine gun turret in your castle's turret.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And open source plans for it so you could 3D print it probably would be a good idea.
There you go.
3D printed turrets
3D printed
on top of
nukes.
3D printed turrets.
3D printed nukes.
I like it.
3D printed nukes. I like it too. Your
right,
your
cut.
spool of uranium feeding into your 3D printer.
What could go wrong?
All right, Kyle, to you. Who should decide spending priorities? Congress, states, citizens by referendum, independent commission, or markets?
Markets. The government shouldn't be spending things unless there is something that the people have come together on and said, we don't know how to do this thing. We're giving this power up. And so that government is only like a locally created group. So that's part of a market. People coming together and deciding to influence a market together, it's perfectly fine. It's a problem when the government decides to push the market around. And that's exactly like, oh, this is a dangerous thing to say. That's in my opinion, the biggest problem with the military industrial complex, right? They are literally choosing who to kill for money. And I think that's just despicable. So the less the government gets to choose, better. So as long as it's coming from us, who cares?
All right. Amanda, to you. How should medical care be licensed? Strict government licensing, private boards, hospital-based certifications, insurance-backed standards, or open competition?
I mean, open competition. Right now, insurance-backed standards aren't good enough because you still have the embeddedness between insurance companies and the state. So I would just go with open competition. And again, if hospitals were also disentangled from the state, then we also might have a different situation. But because the state isn't absolutely everything, including open competition, but assuming that the competition is in fact open, then the state gets out of the way. So I'm going to go with the final choice, which is open competition.
All right. That's why I didn't respond to you, Phil, because I was like, that's coming. I swear
Yeah,
it's coming. So, all right, Phil, your turn. What's the real purpose of the military? Defense, empire building, corporate profits, bureaucracy, or jobs program?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of the bottom three: corporate profits, bureaucracy, and the jobs program all into one. There's a big part of our population that doesn't really know what to do when they get out of high school. They don't have any specific aspirations, and so those people can kind of go into that and get a pretty stable career overall. But where the real money comes in is when it comes to the bureaucracy that then feeds the military industrial complex. So I think it's all a big rigged game in a way to kind of try to manipulate and change society from a centralized point. And I don't think it helps very much. And I think right now we are seeing a lot of these resources being used for not the greatest things, like trying to control city policing, and for the first time ever having military members in peaceful cities. It's been very uncomfortable to see how it goes, but like I said, I would pick the bottom three of those.
That's why we have to control the police with sandwiches.
This is true. Yeah,
Tactical assault sandwiches.
he's a martyr for sure.
Submachine guns. There we go.
Submachine guns, nice. All right, Kyle, to you. How to end endless wars? Bring troops home immediately. Ban undeclared wars. Cut Pentagon budget. Close overseas bases. Total non-intervention.
I'm going to get so mad if you have a stupid answer. I'm going to get so mad at you. Pick the right answer.
I believe that banning undeclared wars is the way. She can be mad. That's fine.
No, I said it was good. You did good.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Good boy.
Nice. At the end of the day, we have to stand against tyranny. That doesn't mean that the government has to get involved in everyone else's wars. That doesn't mean that we have to give all of our money away. That means that as people, we should be allowed to work with the people around us to make sure there's not a war going on. And so the government currently takes the time to just steal our money and say, we're not really at war. Is total non-intervention unless it's voluntary? That's what I said, brah. So you have to actually have come out and declared that war. And then the people have to be spending the money to support that war. And it's not the government's job.
All right. See if you win or lose points for arguing with the chat during your answer.
Just Neil, not the whole chat. Just Neil. Fuck you, Neil.
All right.
I'll see you tonight.
All right, Amanda, to you. Best way to empower consumers: deregulation, transparent laws, subsidy removal, local markets, or private arbitration.
Oh, they're all so good. Look, subsidies are a form of regulation. Transparency laws, I think, are great and actually should play a role. But transparency laws will tackle one thing, right? Deregulation tackles many problems in one fell swoop. So if we're talking about the best way, and I can only choose one, I'm going with deregulation. I like local markets, but commerce shouldn't be restricted to local markets.
Great answer. Phil, to you. Biggest danger of technocracy: unaccountable experts, central planning, corporate capture, surveillance state, or loss of rights?
I think right now it's surveillance state, but it's in conjunction with corporate capture. Like you have all of these billionaires and millionaires coming together with the latest and greatest AI tech to scan the internet, to surveil you. And in reality, what they want is a total information state where they can then put out laws to change the way you live your life, to shift the way you think. And I think right now we are seeing that in real time as kind of algorithms on the internet change. And, 1 week somebody might be really big on YouTube and next week the algorithm shifts and they're no longer relevant. And these are signs that we have these kind of technocrats with all this power on information being able to shift narratives and shift what's important. And those people are embedding themselves in the government, and they're also including now just trying to suck every piece of information they can about everyone's lives. And people that are just going around thinking, oh, well, what do I care? I don't do anything wrong. You will not even notice how your life is being manipulated. And I only see it getting worse as time goes on.
Excellent. All right, Kyle, you. Best path to peace abroad: neutrality, free trade, diplomacy first, private aid, not government aid, alliances only for defense.
Nuclear proliferation. Realistically, like free trade is pretty much the best way for people to create connections with each other, right? It doesn't matter if you speak the same language when you buy, a Japanese melon Kit Kat, and you're like, oh man, Japan's got some good ideas. Maybe we shouldn't kill them. When you go out of your way to learn about other cultures and other people and everything, it's harder to hate them. And so through trade, you get little slices of what that person or those people are, right? The products we create are some of the things that, are intrinsic to us as part of our culture. So I think that free trade does it. But as far as my original joke answer, if everyone has a nuke, no one's going to use that nuke.
All right. Amanda, to you. Most important factor in worker freedom: low taxes, low regulation, right to contract, access to capital, or mobility.
Okay, I'm regretting doing this to myself because I know you asked for my big issues, and I know I did this to myself. Mobility is essential in being able to access capital. And the right to contract is essential in being able to access capital. So while I am compelled to say ability to access capital, I want to be clear that that doesn't mean just showering capital on workers. It means giving them the opportunity to procure it with themselves and with their own innovative capacity. So in my mind, all of those that were listed that are free market solutions include and lead to access to capital. So it's a both and situation.
I love that you're criticizing yourself at the beginning of the answers.
I know what people are going to come for me for this. So yeah.
I was excited to talk about that. I don't think we've done this on the show, so this is a good one.
This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Phil, to you. Most dangerous tech control: CBDC, central bank digital currency, AI regulation, energy mandates, biometric IDs, or internet censorship?
I think right now it would be central bank digital currencies, only because it can restrict your access. If that becomes the only legal form of tender, it restricts all of your access, right? I think a lot of times money can be somewhat of a speech. You put your money in the things that you believe in, and if all of a sudden a centralized government can shut that off and say, actually, you can't spend your money there, you can't do there, it doesn't really matter what you're censored on the internet if all of your transactions suddenly end. And especially if there's any sort of ideas that go against the centralized state, now they have control over the ability and purchasing power just by shutting off that digital currency. So I think that would be my biggest position on it, but from that list anyway.
Excellent. All right, Kyle, to you. Oh, nope. You're saved by the scores. So if you have not entered your scores yet in the chat, please do so now. Let's jump in the chat. The chat is hopping. All right. Chris says 100 to Phil for supporting the homeless and streaming from the side of an overpass.
I love that.
100 to Phil for being a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Reign of Rain. Minus 100 to Amanda for pleading her case. The verdicts are final. Yes, thank you,
I'm empowering myself as a defendant, man.
100 to Phil for grabbing the Patron bottle.
This is water.
100 to Kyle for expiring laws. 20 to Kyle. 100 to Kyle for cutting things. Mama Max here. Welcome. Industry Association. Industry Association of there is, if there is any. 100 to Kyle for accountability. Plus 10 to Amanda for saying her stylist wouldn't pay the government. 150 to Amanda for a correct answer. 100 to Phil for market-based certifications. 100 to Amanda for no government license. Fund Amanda Standy's back in. Yeah. Truck drivers would be a great industry to require a license, a private license though. 100 to Phil. We don't need any nanny to tell us what's safe. You don't need a license to be a psychic or a fortune or you do need a license to be a psychic or a fortune teller in some states, so the fake ones don't get through. I hope somebody's got a scientific libertarian voodoo doll somewhere. 2A all day, 100 to Phil. 30 to Phil, I will accept your answer. 100 to Phil for the turrets. 100 to Phil for the turrets. 50 to Kyle for distinguishing license from certification. 100 to Kyle. Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
100 for Kyle's Tourette's. 100 to Kyle for market funding. 100 to Kyle. Minus 100 to Phil, where goods cross borders. Yeah, what he said. Hey, Rebecca. 100 for Kylearchy. 100 to Amanda for sticking it to honest, hardworking insurance companies. 100 to Amanda, competition is a good answer. 100 to Amanda for innovation. 100 to Phil for not choosing one. 100 to Phil for sticking it to the military. Minus 100 to Phil for not understanding military. 100 to Phil for using single issue questions to call out the government on multiple issues. Fund Reign of Rain.
Misspelled.
Wouldn't that be Reign of Rain?
Yeah, it would.
I think you're missing a G.
Yeah.
The G's silent, I guess. 100 to Amanda for threatening her competitor. Minus 100 to Kyle. It's total non-intervention unless it's voluntary. 100 to Kyle for declaring it instead of saying it. 200 to Kyle for ending undeclared wars. 25 to Amanda, submachine guns. That was great. Minus 100 from Kyle for getting endless war answers. Ending wars answer wrong. Undeclared wars still leaves us declared wars.
You can declare
defund
war.
Kyle's land. Minus 100 Kyle for unwrapping the comment section before Christmas. Yeah, if you guys, yeah. Minus 200 Kyle for arguing with Neil. That's fair. Minus 100 to Kyle and Griff for their cute banter. It's free night.
It's not
There's-
cute. It's very
sh-
serious.
The
It is
chat is
Friday
shipping
night.
you two. They're shipping you two right now.
I'm about
Yeah,
to ship
we-
him somewhere.
I'm fucking expensive to ship. I'm fat.
He wants you to eviscerate each other. The NAP doesn't mention game shows. That's also correct. 100 to Amanda for being transparent about wanting a new law. Minus 100 to Amanda for wanting a new law. I wasn't paying attention. Amanda gets 100.
That's
Minus
right.
200 to Phil because it's a loss of rights at the crux of it all. 100 to Amanda from the U.S. Congress. They would love deregulation. 100 to Amanda. 100 nerd. Minus 100 for Kyle for arguing with Neil. 100 to Phil for making it to the University of Guantanamo Bay. Very libertarian. Who's the nerd? I mean, which nerd? Yeah, that's fair. 100 to Phil for avoiding picking one again. 100 to Phil for giving great responses and sounding like a candidate. 100 to Kyle because I don't remember saying his name yet. Minus 100 to Kyle for nuclear warfare. Yeah, that wouldn't be fun. Kyle, does your buffering rate slow down when you go on the squirm cam?
See, the problem there is like the doctor doesn't give me an ADHD diagnosis, so I'm stuck on just depressants. I mean, antidepressants. Sorry, got confused.
You need
there.
the diagnosis, man. Diagnosis is going to change your life. You're going to get so many good drugs. It's going to be awesome.
All right, minus 100 to Amanda for picking 2 again. 50 to Amanda because she's right about capital. 100 to Phil for keeping Hot Topic in business.
You should invest, by the way. I'm keeping them alive.
I saw one of the best performers was Build-A-Bear over the last
Oh my
few years
gosh.
or something.
I
Stock
don't.
market's whack. 100 to Phil for CBDC. 300 to Phil for being concerned about being debanked. And we are caught up. And I didn't even put the scores here, so let me do that. And let's see what we got here. I got to make this bigger. There we go. All right. Boy, this is smooth.
I'm
we go.
in suspense now.
I know. Here we go. All right. The scores are Phil in the lead with 1331. Is that leet? Does that spell leet? I can't remember. Amanda with 665. Kyle with 453. Kyle, the meds haven't come in. You're in third place. What do you think so far?
Oh, I mean, I told Neil what I thought. Neil got mad about it. I'm fine with it.
All right.
I'm on Team Neil
And-
personally, and I just want to vocalize that I stand with Neil. I don't remember what Neil said. I just remember that I stand with Neil.
You're in
He
second,
was
Amanda.
for
What do you think?
wars.
I think, I think it's amazing. I just think the chat's wonderful, and I want to restate that multiple times for each of the points that I need to reacquire. So, the chat's great. I fully endorse the chat's decisions on everything. The chat is brilliant. And I will, except for Joe, I will not send any of them to the gulag. The
That's
first
not
2
true.
weeks of Afghanistan. First 2 weeks.
Okay.
Nobody
Okay,
except for
that'll-
Joe goes to the gulag. You might go other places.
That might backfire. You kissing up to the chat sometimes doesn't work either. So, Phil, your first time ever on, you're in first place. What do you think so far?
Oh, I'm having fun. I'm happy I got those 100 points in the beginning. I don't think I'd be where I am today without those 100 points that I got from dunking on my colleagues here. And don't trust Amanda when she says, she really likes you. Just don't trust it. She will stab you with an ice pick or whatever way the communists did at some point.
Like,
In the back of the head.
Yeah, it was the back of the head ice pick. That's what will happen. So just remember
I'm
that.
not the
Just
ice
remember that,
pick
chat.
person.
You are literally the ice pick.
I'm not.
Look at her. Tell me she's not the ice pick. You just pick her up, start breaking ice.
Just put me in a freezer and then throw me at someone. Spear me.
She's the new Batman villain. She's the ice pick.
That'd actually be a great villain.
All right, let's
She just
get
gets
back
thrown
to
by bigger, stronger villains into other people.
she's in like a sheath. Like, just
Just
That's
launch
the leather
people.
jacket. The leather jacket is the sheath.
There we go. Yeah.
a pleather sheath.
Vegan leather. I'll kill the villains, not the
All right.
animals. Or the superheroes.
All right, here we go. New category, lightning round. You guys made it through pick one. Congratulations on that. And all right, Kyle, to you. Corporatism is the category. Should we abolish all corporate subsidies?
we should abolish all subsidies, and corporate subsidies are a subcategory thereof. So yeah, of course. Why not?
Okay. Amanda, to you. Should universities lose federal subsidies?
Yes, they should. Again, I am also anti-subsidy, not least because we saw that the 10% of Intel stake actually came as a result of prior Biden-era subsidies for Intel. And yes, universities should lose federal subsidies. The government has no business, the state has no business subsidizing institutions that are supposed to be radical institutions for questioning authority and innovating. Absolutely not. Ban the federal subsidies for universities.
I was very disappointed that the CHIPS Act wasn't a subsidy for remaking the great 70s TV show Chips. I was very disappointed when I found that out.
But
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Play the youngin card. That's cool. Let's see how that works out. Phil, to you.
Not too old to know Chips. She's
70s?
just unaware of
I've never
the fucking television.
It's Phil's turn, Kyle. Be quiet.
All right, Phil. Is corporatism more dangerous than socialism?
I think it's probably about equal if we're talking about status socialism. I think right now it's a bigger threat to us because we're seeing it happen in real time, of kind of this more overt relationship between the government and corporations. The Intel thing should scare every libertarian out there. It should be scaring conservatives, but for some reason there's a big jump of them that are not. But the minute the entire market starts to be getting influenced in the way it has, not just from direct stake, but from trying to force companies to behave a certain way by tariffs or by giving advantages, all of that is really, really dangerous, not only for the country in general, but markets, investments, our relationships to other countries. And so I think that is definitely a bigger threat to us now. In history, obviously, we had a bunch of state-based socialism that was really, really bad. But I just don't see that being a major problem at this point. And I think fascism and corporatism is a much bigger risk in modern day America.
And you're welcome, Casey. Where is it? I hit the wrong one. There we go. You're welcome, Casey. Yes, I'm old. Yep. All right. Kyle, to you. Should bailouts of too big to fail companies be banned?
Yeah, there's no such thing as too big to fail. A company is just a group of people. So it'd be like saying that you're going to bail the country out from the country you're in. That doesn't even make sense. Companies are made up of their constituent workers and owners. So saying that it's too big to fail is just whining that you're afraid of your numbers looking bad on the economic report. If you hadn't been part of a government that got the economy into that shitty spot in the first place, maybe it wouldn't have been a problem. And you don't need to steal my money to give it to someone else because you already fucked up.
Totally agree. All right, Amanda, to you. Should monopolies created by government regulation be broke up?
Yes, and when that happens, you will find that all monopolies are broken up effectively. Because, again, it is government that is picking winners and losers that allows incumbents to stay in power and limit competition. If you have the regulations gone, the monopolies will also be gone.
Excellent. Phil, to you. Should taxpayer dollars ever fund R&D?
In our current system where you're forced to pay taxes, no. I think a lot of the same institutions that we have in government today would probably exist in a world without such an oppressive government, and people would probably voluntarily give to those research and development programs. I know for myself, if I wasn't getting taxed the same way I am now, I would be giving money towards research programs much more voluntarily. And I would be looking to trusted institutions that I believed in to do that. So I think a lot of the same structures for R&D would be there. It's just it wouldn't be up top with a very few number of people that have special interests guiding which research gets funded, which research doesn't get funded. But the problem is right now, every bit of our research system is dependent on this. And as we're seeing right now in America, all of the research programs and universities are really struggling because they don't have a backup plan. So the minute the money got shut off, it became increasingly hard, and you're seeing a contraction in research in the country. I don't know how we fully get back from that, whether it's a hard stop or a slow transition. But we're going to see a major contraction, but it would be much better if there was some alternative systems to fund them.
Totally agree. Kyle, to you. Category is corporate state alliances. Should Washington end public-private partnerships?
I mean, yeah, the government should not be involved in businesses. This is obvious and self-evident. The government literally can't show up to work more than 2 months out of the year. Why would I ever trust them to run a business with my money? That would be just the worst investment of all time, except they've got guns. And so they tell me that if I don't give them my money for them to invest, that they'll shoot me or put me in jail. Like, it's absolutely absurd. It's just really stupid.
I agree. Amanda, to you. Should corporations be banned from censoring speech at the government's request?
Yes, if the government requests that a corporation censor speech, the government has effectively imposed censorship via an intermediary. It is still a First Amendment violation. Corporations should not be able to take that kind of directive from the government. And generally speaking, the government should not be involved in corporate affairs.
Absolutely. Phil, to you. Should the government own stakes in private companies?
No, I think this goes back to what I said before. I think anytime you start thinking that centralized powers far away from what the market forces start getting involved in companies, then you have personalities guiding business, right? And I think that is ultimately going to lead to failure. And the more we just let this be a normal thing that is out in the zeitgeist, that, oh yeah, it's normal, we gave them a bunch of money and now our country owns a little bit of it, the worst things are going to get here.
Absolutely. Kyle, to you. Category is financial privacy, and this category is brought to you by Zano, who's our Friday night sponsor. Thank you, Zano. Should banks stop reporting transactions to Washington?
I mean, yeah, there shouldn't be. Washington has no reason to know what I'm doing with my money. The only reason the bank should know what I'm doing with my money is so that they can send it to the right people or receive it from the right people. And the government's not part of those transactions. There should be nothing in Washington knowing what any of us are doing.
All right. Amanda, to you. Should customers, not banks, own account data?
If it's truly a free market transaction and a customer opts into sharing data with the bank, then the bank has the data. But if the bank is, again, in league with the state and customers don't really have a choice as to which bank to select because, again, government is picking winners and losers with banks, then no, that should be the government. That should be the customer's data. That should be the individual's data.
Phil, to you. Should banks lose the power to freeze personal accounts?
I think the question would be here is like, if it was a private interaction with you in a bank, you basically would have a contract that says, is that bank allowed to freeze your funds or not? What happens currently is that there are certain laws, there are certain influences from the government that says, we want this account frozen. And we saw it, especially in Canada. We're seeing it in Europe, in America as well. Certain people have been debanked. And they're people that I disagree with, right? I don't like a lot of the people that got debanked. I don't like a lot of what they stand for. But the minute you give kind of this overarching state the power to do that, that's the real problem. Now, if I made a deal with the bank that says, hey, if I don't follow the rules of our agreement, you can freeze my money, that's a different thing, right? And so I think the separation there is who's doing the freezing and did you agree to it in contract?
Good point. Kyle, to you. Category is cryptocurrencies and DeFi platforms. Should decentralized exchanges be free of SEC control?
The SEC should be free of SEC control. So absolutely. I don't believe in the centralized currency being the only one allowed. I don't believe that there's any way that we should be able that someone should be able to say without like our actual agreements that we can't use any other like method of trade, that they're going to tax it if we attempt to do anything else. it's ridiculous. If I give you $1,000, that's no one else's business. And the idea that me giving you money, even if that's via crypto or whatever else, means that the government's going to come along and say, well, you gained money, you have to pay taxes on that. Or looking for me for the KYB, know your business bullshit, and say that, he gave money and that person turned out to be a terrorist. And so he's going to prison now. That is absurd. The government has no reason to know. They should not be involved.
Excellent. Amanda, to you. Should decentralized stablecoins be legal alternatives to the dollar?
Yes, that's the short answer. I believe firmly in currency competition, and the dollar should not be the only currency that we are allowed to transact in. Again, currency competition for the win. Easy answer.
Thanks for putting the water bottle there so we could see you to scale. Thanks.
It's a giant water bottle, though. Like it's like a.
I was going to say
water.
it's only a 3-ounce water bottle for people keeping score at home. All right, and Phil, to you. Should open source developers be free from government prosecution?
Yeah. I think that's all that really needs to be said there. The more open source options we have, the better. People can iterate on them, and I think we'd be in a lot better place if there wasn't such regulations, restrictions, and if all of these ideas were open source. I think different medical treatments would be available, different technologies would be available that otherwise are currently kind of locked down.
In free roam and storm too. And all right, Kyle, to you. New category: consumer freedom. Should consumers be free to import medicine from abroad?
Consumers should be free to import medicine from the meth lab in their basement. Consumers should be able to get medicine from wherever. You should be able to get whatever you want, wherever you want. It is your responsibility to figure out what you're putting in your body, to make those decisions. And if you get something that's unsafe and you end up hurting yourself, that's on you. In the event that medicine comes from somewhere else and is cheaper or is less regulated or whatever else, which nothing should be regulated, but don't get me wrong. Okay, who cares?
All right. I couldn't tell with the gestures if you're going to keep going there or not, so sorry for the pause there. Amanda, to you. Should consumers be free to buy raw milk?
This is
Amanda doesn't even believe you should be able to buy milk, period.
I don't like milk. But you know what? I think you should be free to make a terrible choice and drink milk. So yes, consumers should be free to buy whatever they want, put whatever they want into their bodies, including heroin and including raw milk. I personally recommend unsweetened flax milk, the nectar of the gods. I want to correct the record. This is 64 ounces, not a gallon. So this is how I do my lifting every day.
Is that flax milk in there? How do you milk a flax? Is that
well? You ever seen a flax seed that's really needed to be milked? Like they come up to you and the seeds are just swollen and they're very relieved. It's like using the bathroom for them to like milk a flax seed. You gently massage the seed shaft, and the milk excretes slowly and sensuonerously.
Well, now I'm never gonna have flax milk ever. That description, by the way, very uncomfortable. Never having flax. I was almost sold on it. It's too.
Delicious. You should do it. It tastes kind of like water with a little bit of not water mixed in.
You know that the flax needs to be milked when it comes up to you and it's swollen and blue.
Yep.
I'm picturing Amanda in a commercial, slow motion, just squeezing the flax.
I feel like the Paris Hilton Carl's Jr. ad, just
yeah, which is just an exploding flax. Oh boy, that'd be funny if we got kicked off of YouTube for a
description of flax.
No. Flax ejaculation. All right, back to it. Phil, to you. Should zoning boards decide what stores can sell?
No, I don't like the idea of zoning in general. If you own property, you should be able to do whatever you want with it as long as it doesn't kind of your activities don't kind of seed out into the commons or to somebody else's property. And so In reality, the only time there should ever be a problem is if there's a property that may be playing music super late at night or polluting the water nearby. And then that would be a dispute between those property owners. But zoning everything really restricts innovation in communities. It stops cities from growing. And it does it by controlling the market. And there's tons of areas where people want to build houses, businesses, high density housing, and all of that is shut off. And we're now stuck in this kind of housing crisis where we have a bunch of boomers that are looking, my house is my biggest investment. And if this happens, now I'll suddenly be worth less. And I don't think you should be able to basically worry about your investment by screwing over other people's property rights.
All right. Enter those scores in the chat. Let's jump into the chat here. Joe gave Amanda 100 for being pro-drugs.
Right.
Rebecca's got points to Amanda, so she has points to redeem for drugs.
Appreciate you, Rebecca.
They're fiat points, so you have to find a really dumb drug dealer. Minus 100 to Kyle for being poor. Plus 1 to Amanda for saying the chat is great. Points to Amanda for sticking up for Neil. Minus 100 to Phil for being happy with his points. Minus 100 to Amanda for sending me to the gulag. 100 to Amanda for giving me the validation I never got from my father.
Saw you make me proud.
Plus 1 to Amanda for kissing the chat's ass. 100 to Kyle for calling Amanda a nice pick. Minus 100 to Kyle for reminding me of a smaller version of my father.
How small do you think I am?
100 to Amanda because fuck Kyle.
I told him we could fuck later, and he just kept saying fuck me. And it's like, I already said okay.
100 to Phil for blending both answers for a third time.
How does Phil get points for blending answers and I lose them for blending answers? I feel like
It's all about the style.
No,
you do
Amanda, from those who have to those who have not, the chat expects you to be able to have words and make good words and flowery, pretty words. And they expect Phil to not make words.
Yes.
And so
Why
when Phil
use
has
many
words across 2 different subjects, that's celebratory. When you do it, it's below you.
Phil's broadcasting from an underpass with a bottle of Patron. And he probably doesn't even have a flaxseed to milk, and he's beating you, Amanda. That's
not in this economy. There's no way in this economy.
100 to Phil for being afraid of Intel. What are those nerds up to? 2 to Phil because I like your mustache. 100 to Phil for market manipulation by the government. 100 to Amanda for her subsidies take. 100 to Phil for plenty of blame to go around. Minus 100 to Phil for not making eye contact when he's speaking to the chat. 100 to Phil for the best beard. Excuse me. 10 to Kyle reluctantly. Minus 100 to Kyle. Google and Apple are too big to fail. Saying a company is too big to fail is like saying the SS Titanic is too big to sink. That has something to do with the Federal Reserve, though. I don't remember quite what that was, though. 100 to Kyle. I became a libertarian on this issue. 100 to Kyle. Let them fail. 100 to Kyle for being too big and still failing.
Screw it.
I mean,
Size my nemesis. This is known.
We need commercials so I could just like laugh and cry for like 30 seconds or something.
You're right for calling me an ice pick.
Oh boy, Phil went into witness protection here.
I'm
What
trying to get
is going on here?
I'm trying to get it to recognize back. But...
Put another quarter in, Phil. It might work.
Well, one of the homeless guys breathing on it, so like that's causing it to fog up a little bit.
It's actually the heavy breathing of the flaxseed just needing desperately to be milked.
100 to Amanda for getting the government out of picking winners and losers. 130 to Amanda. 100 to Phil. 100 to Phil. Research provides exponential growth for humanity in my stock portfolio. 100 to Kyle for not trusting the government. 100 for the first to say fuck the government.
Fuck the government.
There you go. 100 to Kyle for pointing out government behaves like the mafia. 100 to Amanda for the Coldplay corporate affairs reference.
Sure. Why not?
Minus 100 to Phil for the long-winded answer during the lightning round. Minus 100, Kyle, the Clintons now love you for zero reporting of banking.
I ain't taking your
100
rights because you don't like the Clintons.
Yeah. 100 to Kyle for Washington getting out of our transactions. 100 to Kyle, your tropical mango scented candles are out for delivery. Thank you.
Actually, just got a delivery.
Yeah, it was a little bit ago. 100 to Phil for consent. 200 to Amanda and Phil, and plus 10 to Kyle because I'm getting sleepy and going to bed. 100 to Kyle for giving me $1,000. 100 back to Phil. Long answer was necessary there. Minus 500 to me. That's fair. Kyle, 100 for being Sam Bankman's defense attorney.
Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
100 to Amanda for currency competition. Amanda stand coins for Joe. 100 to Amanda for drinking her body weight in water. Your sparkling kidneys. Thank you.
They do. My GFR is fantastic. I'll let you know.
There's no way she weighs 64 ounces. I'd like a recount on that. 100 to Kyle for supporting your local meth lab. Yeah, thank you for that. 100 to Kyle. Consumers should be free on medicine. He ran away again. Minus 1 to Kyle. I don't have a meth lab or a basement. Oh, Kyle decided to join us. Welcome back, Kyle.
Yo.
100 to Amanda for supporting uncontrollable diarrhea milk. 100 to Amanda for some reason. Minus 100 to Amanda for dissing my keto.
The almond milk is JV. So you gotta try the flax milk. Okay, Good Karma flax milk. Don't get the protein added stuff. Just get the unsweetened flax milk from Good Karma. You'll thank me. You're welcome.
But I think Scientific likes his milk from the nuts is really, I think, what he's going for there. Minus 100 to Amanda. I don't think heroin goes with milk.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Black tar white milk.
I'm speechless and almost wrecked my car with the flax milk pouring. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm sure if you tell the cop, he'll let you off. 100 to Phil. Sounded like a reasonable answer to something. 100 to Phil for sticking it to the old people's property values. 100 to Amanda for questioning the chat for a second time. 100 to Phil for having words. 100 to Phil for saying for why say lots of words when a few words will do the trick. 100 to Kyle for word splaining. Minus 50 to Phil for face palming the chat. 5 to Phil for OBS. 100 to Amanda for desperately milking that flax seed. My penthouse forum letter worked well for you there.
Oh, yeah.
100 to Phil for anti-government facial technology, and 200 to Kyle for leaving again. Yeah.
Minus 2.
Kyle's just damn rude. I think that's what we're learning.
Kyle's very rude. He hangs up on me all the time, too.
She hangs up on me like a motherfucker.
All right, share it back out. We got, I think, another round here, and now we're out of order again because Kyle keeps doing the dramatic exit. And
Rage quits the show.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. All right. Kyle, to you, if you could stick with us for a little longer.
I'm trying.
Category is technocracy. Should unelected experts have the power to make law?
They're not elected. I mean, I guess if you have hired them to make laws for like your community or whatever, and you're unanimously agreeing upon it, sure, why not? Otherwise, no.
Okay. Amanda, to you. Should public health experts override parental rights?
No. If there's one thing I hate more than parents, it's people in health. So absolutely not. I would say, honestly, always the individual's rights should come first, and then the closest people to that individual. Public health experts are always doing things on a population level, never an individual level, and for that reason should not be making decisions for individuals.
Did you just come out against parents? Was that?
I don't know where you heard that. That was not at all what I said.
I heard that.
That's not what I heard.
I definitely heard it.
I didn't hear
There's
that.
something about.
I think
The only thing you like less than parents.
Less than parents.
Yeah, I think those are the exact words.
Oh.
No, ever. I would not do that. To
You might get points for having daddy issues, but that might come out well for you. Who knows? Oh boy. All right. Phil, to you. Should AI-powered surveillance be outlawed?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. AI, even if it gets way better, right now it'll hallucinate things. It'll make up citations as seen in RFK's citations on on various scientific subjects that he doesn't fully understand. Those are, a big issue that AI currently will hallucinate and come up with its own justifications for things. The minute that starts being in the surveillance state, then people that are innocent, have done nothing wrong, will get labeled. They will then get tracked. Then they will be kind of harassed and manipulated. And so it should not be allowed.
I just realized I was crying so hard I forgot to show the scores when I was supposed to be showing the scores. So let me do that. A lot happened there, and I got confused. There was a lot going on. All right, so Phil's still in the lead, 22-88. Amanda's still in second, 18-67, and Kyle, if he's still with us, has 15-72.
I just want to say the chat is amazing, and I love them so much. Like, my life is still not complete because the chat isn't here with me always, and I wish that they were. The chat's just so brilliant and wonderful, and I felt compelled to say that just now for no reason.
Unless they're parents, then
no, because everyone in the chat is also a child, so everyone in the chat has also suffered as a result of parents, and so I feel for them. I have empathy. I forget how you pronounce that word. I read it somewhere. For the chat.
The other funny thing that nobody else could see is watching Terry's laughing her ass off in the background. I saw her wiping tears and I almost died. That's how I forgot the score. Oh, it's hard to hold it together today. All right. Call your parents if you can. All right. Kyle, if you're still with us. Should central bankers lose all monetary control?
Central banks should lose all existence. So, yes.
All right. Amanda, to you. Should all federal boards be elected?
I would prefer as few federal boards as possible. And for those that do exist, yes, I believe in popular choice for that. And I believe that they should have as few powers as possible.
All right. Phil, to you. Should schools have the power to require vaccines?
Private schools, yeah. I think if a private school wants to have a contract with all of the parents of the children there, I don't see anything wrong with it. I know there was some big issues during the pandemic where the state was kind of manipulating businesses to force them to get their employers done. But in reality, any service you pay for, anyone that hires your service, you're going to have a contract. And so if there's an agreement between the parents and the school, good on them. If it's the same thing with a business, good on them. I imagine it would, you would preclude some of the market, but that would be a decision you'd have to make, right?
I agree. Kyle, to you. Category is immigration reform. Should states control immigration instead of Washington?
No, as no government should be controlling immigration. So Washington shouldn't control it, neither should states. It is about interactions between people. It's that simple.
All right. Amanda, to you. Should long-term tax-paying residents gain legal status?
Yes, absolutely. Although I would like to see taxes substantially lowered. I believe in multiple pathways for citizenship and residency. So yes, more power to them if they're contributing to the economy and contributing to the workforce, 100%.
All right. Phil, to you. Should English fluency be required for citizenship?
So I know some people are probably going to really think that this is a major necessity. I think in reality, it doesn't matter what language. If there's going to be a citizen test, it doesn't really matter what language it's in. Is there a way we can find out if you believe in the same sort of ideals of life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and individuality? And so if those things, if you can test for that and they have enough kind of reverence for these ideas, go ahead. I mean, in my ideal world, you wouldn't have to be fighting over some citizen, kind of stamp or tax stamp essentially on your own life and for the lives of people coming here. But if it is to exist, I don't see a problem of it happening in another language.
Okay. Kyle, to you. Should deportations require jury trials? And now, Kyle, imagine that it exists today.
Oh, I have to allow deportations? Then yeah, it should go to the jury trials. And at that jury trial, every juror should be informed of juror nullification. and they should be able to just ignore whatever the law says.
That was closer to an answer. I'll give you that. Amanda, do you? Should children of illegal immigrants born here be citizens?
Yes. I'm not about constitutional supremacy for everything, but this is one place the Constitution definitely gets it right. If you are born here, then you are a citizen, point blank.
Okay. Phil, to you. Should states issue their own work permits?
I mean, I think it goes back to everything. There's a difference between state-based permits and some sort of voluntary certification system. Ideally, there would be none. But if there's going to be a permit, the more local, the better. So if it's work that needs to be done in one community, they would get a permit from that community, et cetera. But in reality, it shouldn't happen that way.
Okay. Kyle, to you. Categories occupational licensing. Should licensing be the government's job in protecting consumers?
Didn't even need the protecting consumer parts. Licensing is something that should be between you and who you're hiring, or you and who's hiring you. It's no one else's business. If I want some proof of your ability to do a job before I hire you, and you don't have the certification that I want you to have to be able to hire you, then I won't hire you. That easy.
Okay. Amanda, to you. Should private certification replace licensing in all industries?
I mean, I am for any type of private, sanctioning, replacing any type of public or federal sanctioning. So yes, in that sense, but I don't think that private certification should necessarily be required anyhow, because that negates the private aspect of it to some degree. So then you're privileging some company that's doing the certifying. I would prefer to see, no requirements for either certification or licensing, no matter what.
Okay. Phil, to you. Should insurance requirements replace licensing?
I guess the kind of question becomes like, who enforces that requirement? The more we're going to say then, okay, well, is it the local community that empowers this requirement? If it's a blanket statement from a federal government versus a local community, I could see that being an issue. But whoever is hiring somebody to do a job, whoever's contracting with something, if they require that there must be insurance there, that I think that's a good thing. And if they don't, then they may have some ramifications for not doing it, where if somebody gets harmed because of negligence, then you would sue them for the money back. We see this currently now. If you go and get work done on a property, you can hire somebody who has insurance already, and then you're kind of covered, or you can maybe get it cheaper for somebody that doesn't have insurance, but then that puts both people kind of at liability. I think that happening naturally based on decisions, and then facing the ramifications that if you did something and caused some harm, that you don't have the insurance to cover that, and they're going to have to be able to get back their kind of value somehow.
Makes sense to me. Kyle, to you. Categories right to work and union power. Should right to work laws be nationwide?
Why do we keep trying to add laws? This is, again, between two people. You're doing work for someone else, or someone else is doing work for you.
Cal, do you know what a right to work law is?
What?
Do you know what a right to work law is?
I do. I'm in Georgia, which has
Making
right to work laws.
Making sure.
I don't think that the law should be involved in any way for it. Good or bad things. Get laws out. No more laws.
So you'd get rid of right to work laws?
It's the same. Yes, at the end of the day, yes, I would. It's the same thing to me as the libertarian question that comes up for bigotry laws, everything else. Yes, they are on the surface good. They're good things. There shouldn't be a law for it. It's not necessary. Instead, you get things where they get abused in the other direction, like for Georgia, which is a whole different issue that we could talk about. And that's a problem. Whenever the government tries to fix something, even if it's something that is a good thing on the surface, bad things come of it. Don't let them do it. No power to the government. Right
to work says that you are not able to have a predatory corporation or corporate form of union demand that people give their speech to the union.
Yeah.
So it's like an anti-monopoly law.
I don't want anti-monopoly laws either.
Yep, I agree with Rebecca.
That's
I
fine.
guess the question could
You
be
guys can be authoritarians. Go enjoy your authoritarian state.
well, I think the argument comes here is like the order of operations of things that happen, right? Do you first let deregulation kind of exist and allow the market to expand such that if people don't agree with working with that predatory monopoly, that they can then establish a co-op, their own independent agency or whatever. But as long as they still have the state power, I think this is an important question. If they have the state power and they're manipulating it to their gain, then there should be some way for the people to kind of try to limit that power. But in the ideal world, I agree with Kyle. It shouldn't be required. But in the environment that we exist in, sometimes solutions would go against those kind of, you don't want to add any other laws, but if it's kind of trying to limit the state power, then at least it's somewhat acceptable. And the same argument towards the Constitution, right? It's the goal of it was not to say what rights the people have; those were inherent. The goal of that document was to limit and say what can the government not touch at all. And people ignore the like kind of last part, which says all other options should also be held by the people. But in that case, I don't necessarily see it being a problem if you're going to restrict that kind of predatory behavior.
I mean, again, at the end of the day, if a company wants to have their own little like mining town that's a horrible place where you only get paid in scrip, that's between you and them. That's not the government's place to be there. Is that horrible? Yes. Do we have the ability to blow that up and get that message out to everybody and make it so that no one will buy from that company? Also, yes.
Not if the company is the government and they have the airwaves.
The company can't be the government because the government doesn't exist in the first place.
But it does right now. So the question was, should they be abolished given what is?
Yes, they should be abolished because you should be moving toward the ideal. The things that are the problem should be gotten rid of, and those should also be gotten rid of.
It's a question.
The question doesn't give a, does this need to happen first or second or third? It's a general, vague, does this happen ever? And yes, that should definitely happen. Do you fix the other problems first? Sure.
If you have,
it's not the thing you focus on.
It's basically like, okay, either these predatory people can engage in making you give your speech to them, or they can't. It's not. Yeah. If it's so, you get rid of the one that's doing the one that's being the predator.
Why are you being forced to work for that company?
If you have, the embeddedness between various corporate sector or corporate unions and corporations is such that it is very easy to essentially have unions co-opting any business within a vicinity and any industry within a vicinity. It would be wonderful if in response to that, people who are working can say, well, fuck you, I'm going to be self-employed. But a lot of times we also have laws pushed by corporations that are also include corporate unions that outlaw that as well. So this is an area in which having a system to alleviate that capture helps.
What you're saying is that there are all these problems that you want a law to put a Band-Aid on it. I don't believe in Band-Aids. The problem is the other laws in the first place. You don't have the problems with the giant unions that own everything unless the government has told those businesses they have to do that shit.
Right, but you didn't say get rid of the government first.
I did say no government, no laws.
You
as
said
few laws as possible.
Well, we're talking about current conditions, right?
Sure.
Government's not going away tomorrow. Would you get rid of right to work laws tomorrow?
Again, it would happen like as a progressive thing. The ideal is to not have right to work laws because you've gotten rid of everything else. Again,
so you get rid of everything else first.
Well, sure.
Okay, that was counter to what you said previously.
It is not. I literally said that several minutes ago.
It's why I said I think some of the biggest arguments that happen in the libertarian space is the idea of the orders of operations. Like which way are they going to happen? Because you could imagine you could remove one thing and actually make things worse, right? And just because you've kept the other governmental powers still there, that actually poor people get screwed even more, right? If you remove one subsidy or one regulation, whatever, and don't provide a free space for the kind of libertarian solutions to thrive, right? So a lot of what we get blamed as is not caring about poor people, et cetera. And in reality, we just think that a free market system or voluntary behavior would do a better job. And so if those are allowed to grow, then you would say, hey, well, you wouldn't even need these other systems anymore. And making them obsolete, I think is the best option that we can do. But I am very much of the mind that there is an order of operations that would be best, and that will have to be kind of figured out as these things starting to get dismantled. And you'll have some areas which do it right, some areas that do it wrong, and we would see the ramifications from that and learn it in any sort of iterative process.
Yep.
Well, I saw in the chat that Casey agrees with Kyle, so that means Kyle's wrong. So we can move on. All right, Amanda, to you. Should unions be banned from forcing membership?
From forcing membership, absolutely. Once again, if an organization, if people on the ground at a particular org want to come together and collectively bargain, I say more power to them. They should be able to do that. They should be able to organize for their rights. They should not be able to force another person, especially not via the heavy hand of government, which they routinely do things like blocking charges, which prevent workers from being able to take a vote on whether to decertify a union. That should not be able to happen.
Excellent. Phil, to you. Should public sector unions be abolished?
I would say yes, because public sector is just a monopoly, and then they're going to be paying out to these unions, and that monopoly is made up of funding that's being forced away. And so you basically have an entirely captured both sides of the market there. And you kind of have these collusions that happen, and things don't really fit to a market rate valuation for actions, right? You'll have entire unions that might be doing some field, and half the time they're not doing any work. And there's no way to correct those actions. I know a few people that work in government, and they have employees that they cannot fire. They can't basically try to force them to do beyond a bare minimum. And all of that leads to government waste, and it's all funded by non-voluntary means. So absolutely, it shouldn't be a thing.
All right.
I still
Back
want
to
to whine about
Kyle.
unions more.
Categories: war and foreign relations. Should the president lose all authority to launch undeclared wars?
Clearly. Obviously. The president is one person. It doesn't matter how many people elected them. They should not be able to tell 350 million people that they are now in a war. That's simple.
Okay. Amanda, to you. Should Washington end all foreign aid immediately?
Oh, no. So liberty and liberation is a global struggle, right? There are things that in our current system are in place. There are types of foreign aid that are in place that keep further authoritarians from being able to wield power. Does that mean that the US is doing this for noble reasons? Absolutely not. But there are certain forms of foreign aid that I would, first of all, they would need to be followed and tracked to make sure that they're being used well. But I would not eliminate all forms of foreign aid immediately, because that would create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, and I'm confident of the countries and the people that would step in to fill that vacuum. So no, not immediately.
Thank you, comrade. Phil, to you. Should Washington ban AI-powered drone warfare?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to be offloading decisions of life and death in that way. It's already kind of lessened the emotional damage for war fighters that are using drones when they basically are playing a video game and seeing someone die in it. That is a lot easier psychologically. And now if you make it where now you offload that to a computer, there's nothing.
I want to argue on that one.
Okay.
All right.
As someone who worked very closely with drone programs in the U.S. Army, because I worked for the software engineering division with the Army, I am the Fed that Angela told you to worry about. You actually see more PTSD symptoms and higher rates of regret, et cetera, from pilots who are drone pilots than ones who are in cockpit. And when they looked at the psychological issues there, it appears to be that With the drones, you feel no fear for your own life. And so when you are in a cockpit of an actual aircraft and you kill someone else, you know that either you kill them or they kill you. When it's a drone and you murder people, you know that they had no chance. One of the things that I've unconfirmably seen is a pilot walk out of one of the little fucking shipping containers that they pilot the drones from and just puke everywhere in the hangar. And it's because they were so fucked up from flying a drone over an undisclosed location and unconfirmably dropping weapons of war upon them. It's terrible. Drone war fucks your pilots up.
Okay, I mean, I guess I didn't realize that it would do that, but it does make sense psychologically that the minute you kind of remove any sort of self-justification to why you're doing the killing, that it would cause worse PTSD. It obviously has made it easier, though, for us and our warfighters to engage in these fights overall, right? Us not having to put as much military power out there to have these drones kind of just drop bombs. So leaving the psychological aspect aside from it, it's made it easier for us to engage in undeclared wars, kill people that are clearly not a threat to anyone in that moment. And the minute you offload that even further, now you don't have one of those pilots that have that psychological questioning of like, why am I doing this? Now it just becomes a computer program that's designed not to care. And I think the ability for that to have that much power and choosing life and death and the way in which we project military power is just a bad idea in general. So I wouldn't want to see it. Do we end on an agreement then, Kyle? Even though I misrepresented it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually think that's fascinating. I've been wondering that for quite some time. I think that there'd be crazy consequences for, video gaming along and, actually killing people. Like,
Oh yeah.
Even if you don't realize it that at that point, like, that seems like a total thing that could be PTSD.
Another thing with it is like, at the end of the day, no one's using drones for like craft to craft warfare, right? You're not carrying a machine gun on it. You're not carrying a rifle on it. You're carrying bombs. Even for the little, $100 DJI knockoff drone that they've loaded a bomb onto, you are going to blow people up. They don't have a chance. There is no, well, maybe they lived. They are dead. And when you bring, especially the bigger drones over and you drop a bomb that levels an apartment complex because there's a terrorist in the bottom of that complex, you just killed a shitload of people. You know you did it. You know they were innocent. But hey, at least you got your guy. And so those people go home every night and they have to question, well, was it worth it today? Was it okay that I murdered all of these people who had done nothing wrong because I also got some number of important bad guy targets?
Is this not a false equivalence, though?
Horrible.
Because we're not talking about if anything, we're talking about using a more versus less precise type of technology and putting more versus fewer people in harm's way. So I think you're criticizing how the drone strikes are used rather than the fact of drone warfare itself, right? So
it's the only way to do the drones.
What do you mean?
Like they are bombs. That's what they're
right,
for.
Right. But
and so you're going to kill people. It's not like a gun where like that person has a gun aimed at you and it's I've got to shoot him. It's those people, if they ever got over here 3,000 miles away,
but
then
again,
it could be a problem. So I'm just going to blow them up.
You're talking about like bombs versus guns, and guns are better because they're more risky and less accurate.
But they're more accurate.
But if you're talking about a targeted drone strike, you can actually make that very, very accurate. Again, that's why I'm saying I think you're criticizing the way that the drone attacks are used as opposed to the fact of drone warfare itself, which can be much more targeted, much more precise, and put fewer people in harm's way. It's often used in a more reckless manner, but then we're critiquing the mode, not the actual technology, not the actual innovation.
Amanda Stan will be armed with drones.
Amanda Stan absolutely will use drone warfare and won't just say, well, I like the element of risk, so I'm gonna have people go into a battlefield because that's fair.
You shouldn't. That's not what I said. That's a huge change of what's being said.
But you were arguing for guns over drones, and what I'm saying
No,
is...
I'm explaining why the people aren't as bothered by using a gun instead of using a drone. Why your pilots are the person who's armed is the actual soldier is fighting with.
I said that your critique seemed to be more about how the drones are used rather than the fact of drones themselves. Right. So what is your critique? You're saying that we shouldn't use drones.
I am not saying we shouldn't use drones.
He's saying he's just saying the psychological ramification to killing somebody is different when you have no self, the want to survive involved, because you're not at risk of dying if you're in like a trailer in the middle of nowhere. That's all he's saying, is that psychologically the PTSD is different. That's all.
So if anything, it would be, you would have more of an interest in getting things right if you're using a drone, because you're less able to justify it to yourself if you are reckless. That is not how that works. But you're talking about the psychological ramifications being worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, if the consequences are worse for getting it wrong, and internally,
it's not just for getting it wrong; it's also for getting it right.
Right, but if the consequences are worse, period, then it would actually be a form of warfare that incorporates more concern. Again, if engaged in a good manner, right? We're talking about the way that it's used. Well, I know that's the entire point. Is we're talking about like a right and a wrong way to engage someone in battle, and there are clearly better and worse ways.
That's not what's being argued. That's what you keep saying is being.
Then
argued.
What is your critique?
That war is bad, my friend.
I don't think anyone's disagreeing with that. The question was about
drones. Which is why it's weird that you keep attacking it.
Because it seemed like you were critiquing the drone use, and I was talking about how
more so than using a gun. Phil made a point that that drones make it easier to kill people without having negative effects on the pilot. All I disagreed with was that, because drones don't do that. The pilot comes back in a worse place than your actual aircraft fighter pilots.
Okay.
I guess
that's a thing that has to be considered and has to be weighed when you're using drones. It's not currently, because it's just like, we're not risking like any property that matters. No humans are going to die. Who cares if we lose $100 million of your money?
And we have veterans killing themselves at crazy high rates, and all of that being a ramification of the side effect of it. Yeah.
That's all I was saying.
Okay.
All right.
You just got ice picked, by the way.
Sometimes people realize sometimes Kyle likes to like take a random word and argue it. So it is confusing to see whether he's actually critiquing something or whether he just is trying to say a thing.
The chat noticed.
Yes.
And that brings us to the final scores here. So put your final scores in the chat. Tell us who won or lost. And and I just want to point out that people shouldn't bring their kids to hospitals, or that's what happens to them. So, all right. See what's going on here. Minus 100 for right to work is different in every state since they're all written differently. Well, I said it was nationwide though. Oh wait, I gotta go way up here. 100 to Kyle for the swear jar. 1,000 to Amanda for hating on Scientific. 100 to Amanda for hating parents were insufferable. Here's 173 pictures of my kids. Minus 50 to Amanda for hating on parents. This is not going to work out well for you. Minus 100 to Amanda for
surprisingly few people got back at me from parents thing. Because they've all had parents.
Night's not over yet. 25 to Amanda
mommy issues
for her daddy issues. Minus 100 from Amanda for being anti-parent. Defund Neverland. 100 to Phil. F that old baseball mitt looking HHS director. Minus 100 to Amanda for being a politician for points. 100 to Phil for reminding us AI will hallucinate if it drinks Amanda Flax heroin. Points to Terry. Points to Terry for keeping it all together behind the scenes. That did not happen tonight. 100 to Amanda on federal boards.
He's putting me on federal boards. That's the thing. He says I should go on all the federal boards. I think that was the wording. Yeah. You're welcome.
Oh, Big John's here. What's up, Big John? I was on Big John's show last night. That was a lot of fun. I think I mentioned that earlier. 100 to Kyle for proving he's an LPNH nationalist.
He corrects himself in like 2 more comments.
Yeah, I probably won't read that one then. 100 to Phil for reasonable vaccine policies that don't make the D- in biology students complain as much. 100 to Kyle for no government dictating immigration. Minus 500 to Big John for mistyping Kyle's LPNH non-affiliation. All right. +1 to Phil, but they need to speak English. 1,000 to Kyle for jury nullification. 100 to Amanda for making my 27 illegitimate children citizens. 100 to Kyle for jury nullification. 100 to Amanda for believing the U.S. Constitution while being a benevolent leader of Amandistan. 100 to Kyle for being a certified hair braider. I did not know that about you.
Oh yeah.
100 to Kyle for getting rid of right to work regulation. -100 to Phil for not letting me call him Phil McCracken.
I said no such thing. Go ahead.
-250 to Kyle for abolishing right to work laws. -100 to Amanda. Right to work is different in every state since they're all written.
You already read that
I
one, by the way, so that's not too. Yeah, that's
all right. -200 to Amanda for complaining about my reading. 100 to Phil for right to work. 100 to Kyle for keeping the government out of the workplace. Well, this is a long one. Oh, it's Rebecca. That makes sense. In a libertarian utopia, it would make sense not to have right to work laws, but since unions are still a thing and mandated in a lot of areas, right to work should be in place to allow for voluntary association and deregulation. 100 to everyone for the three-way debate. 500 and -500 to Kyle for highlighting why libertarians fight over the 5% we disagree on instead of promoting the 95% we agree on. And in Kyle's defense, I don't understand a word of what he was trying to say there at all either. So it was the 5% that I didn't understand about the argument. So -100 to Kyle for using his own interpretation of a question. Oh, Dana's here. Hey, Dana.
That's a lot.
100 to Amanda for the glasses, jewelry, jacket, red lipstick, and, of course, the big words.
Love you, Dana.
100 for putting Phil, putting this right to work back on the rails. Right to work nationwide, ideally independently adopted by each state versus federal law, would work towards eliminating monopolies and unions. 100 to Amanda for union forcing. -100 to Rebecca for giving the Fed more power. 100 to Phil for sticking it to the mail carriers. -100 to Phil for not sitting in a concrete bunker with an armadillo helmet. If that's a green screen, I'm dying to know what's behind it. Just saying. Somebody pull on the crack.
All the homeless people, all the flax seeds that he's hoarding. He has a flax reserve actually there.
100 to Kyle for saying cockpit an awkward amount of times. 100 to Phil for droning on. Oh, very good. Very good. -100 to Phil and Kyle for colluding on an answer.
Unfair.
I'm not actually offing people in my new video game. What's the point then? 100 to Phil. War's supposed to be hell. -100 to Kyle for being anti-psychopath. That's not very inclusive.
It's really hurtful. Yeah.
Kilburn wants you to look up Slaughterbots on YouTube. -100 to Amanda for Amandistan bombing raw milk consumers.
No, I wouldn't. I'm in favor of the raw milk.
No, she's
I mean, not for myself, but for other people, they can make bad decisions.
I
I'm
will
with you
tell
on
her
that.
that I'm having a glass of milk, and she'll be like, "Ew, gross."
I
on
didn't.
the phone.
Yeah, but I didn't ice pick you, did I? Yet. Careful.
The fucking chat has already said so. 100 points to Kyle for getting ice picked is one of the comments. Disagreeing with the chat again, Amanda.
I love the
100
chat. That's always right.
100 for Amanda, and she is ice picking Phil with her drone. I love ice picking is now a verb. -100 to Kyle and Amanda for having a technically debate. Yeah, that's what it was. We need a Mortal Kombat graphic during debates. Yeah, that'd be fun. Sweep the leg. 100 for interchanging consequences and ramification. Go Amanda. 100 to Phil for ice picking the joke. 100 to Amanda for not droning parents. Yeah, that was a good job by you.
Yeah. I have other
All
questions.
right, I think we caught up, and let's see.
Rebecca
how
just
we
took
did.
50 from Kyle for getting ice picked. I just want to say that happened just now.
Yep, there we go. And Sarah Bella thinks it's Amanda for the win.
I think that just means that she nuked the other two.
Let's see where we
Jesus.
ended up here. Here we go. And Phil takes it. Phil goes end to end, 2789. Amanda went after parents, milk, the unions, and that did not work well for her, 2142. And Kyle wasn't even on for 90% of the show and still was just right behind Amanda with 1972. Kyle, you came in third. Was this your best finish ever so far?
No, this is by far my worst. This is the first time I've ever come last. But if you'll notice, I outgained Phil, and both of us got way outgained by Amanda, but she couldn't stop attacking the chat. And that's just not a thing you're allowed to do in this game.
I think the chat is fantastic. I just attacked parents, and everyone in the chat has had
Look at
parents.
it.
So everyone
Minus
in the chat knows.
3,000
Everyone in the
points.
chat knows.
Minus
know what you are.
3,051. Those are some Hanoush numbers right there.
They are. And honestly, I'm not sure that it's correct, but I'm not going to demand a recount because I know how Terry feels about those. So
There's also the part where Free would just tell you no.
yeah. Well, there's also the part where I ice pick the chat. So.
I mean, being pro drone was that was a dangerous choice.
I love innovation. Innovation is great unless it's
I love innovation.
That
I
are
want
allowed that are
soldiers to
able
fly
to
over and
limit
murder
the loss
people?
of life. Again, you are interchanging the way that we do something with the thing that we use. That is
No.
a class. Yes.
The only
That's not
thing
what-
she
that's not
came
what- that's
out
not what he
against
did.
this whole time was milk. Like
That is true.
for everything
Milk
else.
and parents.
Milk and parents.
It's
Brittle
like-
boned kids. That's what's going to happen. Brittle boned kids without parents is what you stand
we
for.
have seen what happens.
But they have
where, like,
citizenship, so that's cool.
Yes, I would make the brittle bone children citizens of Amanda Stan.
I'm sorry, Tom Queter.
All right, Amanda, second place. What do you think?
I think it's amazing, and I'm really glad that the chat gave Phil a chance because Phil just rarely wins any of our arguments in LP Alliance. So I appreciate the chat giving affirmative action to Phil.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take the affirmative action.
Yeah.
Rebecca went hashtag Hanoush math. Phil, first time on, you come away with the win. What do you think?
This is a lot of fun. I think it's a great format, and as you can see, in LP Alliance we have 3 members here. We don't always get along, and some of the biggest problems I think in the Liberty Movement is that people can't disagree and still work together. And so we kind of stand for that now. And I think enough of the party has kind of gotten tired of this who's a real libertarian and trying to shut down conversations. And we just don't allow that inside of LP Alliance. We don't want people to be excluded. We don't want people to be abused. And so if you're interested in joining a group of libertarians that have a huge range of philosophy but can still discuss and look towards a more positive future for the party and the Liberty Movement and the country, join, come in, have conversations, and kind of shape what the next step is for our party.
And I'll throw that up on the screen.
So
Phil
sad.
is at Phil_Rein.
That's an angry face.
No, he's clearly just
Sad.
staring at the torch. Hence
That
it.
is true.
That's true. It's like he's lighting it with his eyes. Telepathically.
That is not the kid from Minneapolis, just FYI.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
LP Alliance is at LP_allies, and the website's lpalliance.com, and the torch is thetorch.media, and the GoFundMe is too long to read, but it's there on the bottom, and it's also in the ticker here. And let me throw up, whoops, wrong button. Let me throw up Amanda, our second place contestant. She is at Ajax the Griff with 2 F's, and she also has the same stuff: LP Allies, lpalliance.com, and the torch.media. And she's also got her music on Substack, and that's agitpopinternational.substack.com.
Yeah. Agit Pop
Agit
International.
Pop, that's what
Agit Pop.
I almost had it and then I lost it. My bad. And then Kyle's also got his high school picture up here. He's
That's my wedding picture.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
We got married
Makes sense that
during
you're
the
alone in it.
right. It's actually this is us walking away, which is why it's so grainy.
This is us. It's Kyle and himself walking away
It is.
from the aisle, empty-handed.
But it was during the 2017 solar eclipse. And so we actually gave vows during the totality. However,
Was that so she couldn't see you?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the fact of the matter is, Georgia, even up in the mountains, is still really freaking hot. So, our our anniversary is actually a week ago.
Congrats.
Thank you. We've been together 16 years.
That's awesome.
I'm old.
And let me just throw out your Orcanus was here, and all the same LP Allies, LP Alliance, and the Torch.media and the GoFundMe.
Actually,
So-
orc in the US, because Kyle is an orc in the USA.
It's worse than that.
Yeah.
Orcinus, as in the killer whale,
I know.
which is
I know.
worse than an orc. Orc is getting fucked.
By the way, I just want to I want to note that Chris Townsend is saying that I was also a DEI loss,
True.
and I appreciate that, Chris. I do. I don't mind. I'll let the fellas win. It's fine.
That's funny.
If
All
we're
right,
saying that the most masculine wins and the least masculine loses here, I'm the prettiest girl of them all.
let me add Terry back here. Terry, what'd you think tonight? I didn't think you were laughing enough.
I don't even know if I can say it. Holy shit. You guys were funny. You guys did a great job. And Chad, as always, you were awesome. And I really need to go.
Get some flax milk, Terry. It'll be good for you.
I will never be able to drink milk again, ever. And done, it's over. No kind of milk. We are, and then Freeze got ejaculating seeds. What is going the hell on around here?
We've all seen Minnie Free. We know his seeds are ejaculating.
My seeds
My
work.
work here is done.
I gotta go. You guys have a great holiday weekend. I love
too,
you.
Terry.
Love you,
Rule
Kat.
34.
Flaxseed Rule 34. Too bad this came in too late because you got 100 points for getting married on a blind date in the dark.
She made a terrible mistake, didn't she?
Oh my god.
Oh, this is fun, guys.
Anybody want to say anything in closing? Can anybody talk at this point?
Join LP Alliance and visit the Torch.media.
Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna pull it together for just a second. You guys pay attention and listen, everybody, because I can only do this once. Oh gosh. We will be back on September 5th. We will be off this coming Tuesday. And on September 5th, we will have Ryan Woodcraft with his historical wins. I'm sure we'll hear about that 1,000 times. Mike Scott and David Marino, who is the chair of the Libertarian Party in El Paso. So we will see you guys on what day did I say? We will
Friday
see you
the
guys
5th.
on Friday the 5th, and have a great holiday weekend.
Yeah, we're off Tuesday, back Friday, 8 p.m. with that great group of guys. Really excited to do that. 3 people out there actually hoofing it and running for office and doing all the important stuff that needs to be done on the local level. And so that's going to be awesome. And yeah, I just wanted to say one more time, huge fan of what you guys are doing at LP Alliance. It's important work. You're platforming people that need to be platformed. You're talking about important stuff. And most importantly, you're bringing us together instead of pulling us further apart, which I don't know why we didn't think of that earlier, to be honest with you, because it seems like something that would make sense to be a political party. So appreciate all you're doing. What night are your shows on?
So tomorrow, actually, we are streaming part of the Hawaii convention, and we've got Spike Cohen on tomorrow. We have at 8 ET. Thank you. Yes, we have a regular solidarity stream on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. ET. And we have the business list, which is our weekly newscast, stories inside the party, across the country and around the world. That is also Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. A lot of work. So we appreciate you guys doing all of that. So we'll be back next Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Have a safe weekend, everybody. Be safe out there, and we'll see you then. Night, y'all.